Smackdown starts off with Drew McIntyre. He ends up cutting a promo. He ends up mentioning, of course, becoming WWE champion. Then he ends up mentioning the things he went through, mentions the past, mentioned that fans shouldn't hop on the bandwagon, mentions the bloodline, mentions Cody, mentions Punk. Ends up saying that it's too late for fans to start cheering him now. Then he ends up alluding to Cody, ends up saying that Cody has to start from the bottom, that he has to go to the back of the line, that there's no rematch clause, which I do like because I was like, please do not have Cody immediately get a rematch. Have him struggle. Have him chase the championship for a bit. We eventually get Randy. He comes out, makes his claim for going after the WWE Championship. Then you get Jacob Fatu comes out, attacks Drew McIntyre. Then this transition to the Miz and Randy for their qualifying match. To see who will be in the Fatal 4-Way at Saturday night's main event, and then more contendership match for the WWE Championship. Good way to start the show. Very confused on this whole Jacob Fatu stuff though, because is Drew McIntyre the one to attack them? Because Drew's saying he's not, and I kind of agree because it's like I don't see why Drew McIntyre would attack Jacob Fatu. Well, he doesn't like Jacob, but there's really no logical reason for Drew to even attack him, to be honest with you. And I just don't understand it because I'm assuming Jacob Fatu is attacking Drew because he thinks he attacks him, but he doesn't know. I'm assuming that's the angle they're going with, but we'll see how that eventually unfolds. But Randy Orton does eventually face the Miz. Randy, of course, wins, so he is the first one in the Fatal 4-Way at Saturday Night Main Event. No more contendership match. Obviously makes sense. The Miz wasn't going to win. We do end up getting a women's tag team match between Julia, Kiana James for Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss. This match was fine. It was whatever. This is really telling a story of what happened last week. I was very shocked they went this route. I'm surprised they didn't go with Lash and Nia being in this match, but Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss picked the victory. After the match, Nia and Lash attacked them. This ended up becoming a huge thing because now all of a sudden now we're getting a triple threat tag team match, and it's a number one contendership match for the women's tag team titles, which I don't really understand why. I don't really get it because Julia and Kiana James are kind of just thrown in here because why are Kiana James and Julia in this? Like, why are we using Kiana James and Julia to elevate the women's tag team division when we really should be using this to elevate the women's United States Championship? I don't really understand it. Like, we all know Julia and Kiana James aren't winning that match. Like, it makes no sense for them to win that match. Like, they just got randomly put in here. I get Nia, like, push Julia out the way. I get it. But really, though, like, we should be using this to elevate the Women's United States Championship picture, not the Women's Tag Team Division. The Women's Tag Team Division doesn't need any more help. I don't know what it is about WWE this year. Well, starting in 2025, really. But I don't know what it is with WWE's obsession with wanting to elevate the Women's Tag Team Division after for so long they didn't care about it. But for whatever reason, now they care about it. I don't know what it is. But nonetheless, it should be an interesting match. I hope it's better than what we got on tonight's show, because tonight's show, that the match was just whatever to me, if I'm being honest. Hopefully it's a lot better next week. So we'll see how that eventually plays. I'm assuming Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss will probably win, or Nia or Lash. Probably want to go with Nia or Lash so they can have a more babyface heel dynamic, but nonetheless, we'll see how it all unfolds. We do end up getting a pretty solid Cody Rhodes promo. I really did enjoy this promo from Cody. He basically ends up mentioning, going to the back of the line, fighting his way to eventually become WWE champion again. Then he ends up mentioning Jacob Fatu, ends up telling Jacob that he has a receipt and that he wants payback. And then he ends up officially declaring for the Royal Rumble. Now, he did declare that he would be the number one entrant in the Royal Rumble, which I actually do like. I don't see him winning it because Cody winning 3 Rumbles in a row is a bit ridiculous. Like that's, I do expect him in the future to probably win 3 Rumbles, but 3 in a row is a bit insane, if I'm being honest, and very unnecessary. But him being number one entrant, I do like it. Him having to start the match and having him to try to be the last one standing as well. I do like that idea for Cody. Later in the show, we do end up getting a brawl between Jacob and Cody, and it is confirmed that Cody and Jacob will have a match at Saturday Night's Main Event, which I am very excited for. Don't know who will win that match because they're both heavily protected. Him and Jacob are like 2 of the most protected wrestlers on SmackDown. So very interested to see how that match plays out. It may be a no contest, if I'm being honest. You may end up having Drew McIntyre interfere in that match, if I'm being honest. Like, I could dead ass see that happening because they're both so heavily protected. I just don't see a world where neither of them win clean because in WWE, it's a weird thing where baby faces have to lose by only cheating or some type of shenanigans. So very interested how that unfolds, but I'm actually excited for this because this is something new, something unique, something different that we haven't seen from Cody Rhodes and Jacob Fatu, if I'm being honest. Because Jacob Fatu has been so wrapped up in either Drew McIntyre or something with the bloodline of the MFTs for so long that it's just something refreshing, if I'm being honest. So I'm actually excited for this to actually be an actual feud if they continue this. So I'm excited to see how this plays out. I'm going to get two other qualifying matches out the way because I really don't have much to speak about them, to be honest with you. You do end up getting Trick Williams versus Matt Cardona. Trick Williams ended up winning the match, advanced, so he is one of the other participants that's going to be in the Saturday night's main event, number one contendership match, fatal four-way match for the WWE Undisputed Championship. And then you get Solo and Damian Priest. Damian Priest, of course, wins. You got the Solos and, you got the MFTs and the Wyatt Six still continuing that storyline. The Wyatt Six did interfere in the match. That kind of cost Solo the match. So you do end up getting Trick Williams, Trick Williams, Damian Priest, and Randy Orton. A good solid lineup so far in that Fatal 4-Way match. Very interesting because I could honestly see either one winning. I can't see Trick winning, but Trick being in that position is great. Him being in the semi-main event is good for him because he should be in the main event scene. I don't really think you really need to put him in the mid-card scene, but if you want to put him there, that's fine. But him being in his main event spot, I do like him already contending for the WWE Undisputed Championship. I like it. I like what they're doing with Trick Williams so far. I like what they're doing with his booking. Way better than what they was doing with fucking Carmelo Hayes. So I like what they're doing so far. And I like the matchup of Damian Priest being in there as well because he is a realistic option. He may not be someone you want to see, but he is a realistic option due to the history, plus his history of being world champion. So I do like what they did there. Later on in the show, we end up getting a U.S. Open Challenge, Carmelo Hayes. And the Open Challenge ended up being accepted by Leon Slater. Now, Leon Slater isn't going to be at Genesis due to visa issues, so him being on SmackDown was a complete shock, if I'm being honest. This was a banger match. This was the best match of SmackDown, easily. This was a banger match. I really love what they did here. I like that. Leon Slater accepted the challenge. Now, it is ironic that Leon Slater is starting to become the guy that's just going to lose WWE Championship matches, but nonetheless, this was a banger match. I really enjoyed it. Really elevating Carmelo Hayes' reign. Very interested to see what next they do with him outside of open challenges. Who else they will put? Because if you're willing to put Leon Slater in this spot, you can easily put up other TNA talent. Now, I don't see them going crazy with the TNA talent. The only other TNA talent I can really see accepting a challenge like this is like Joe Hendry. But nonetheless, this was a banger match. This was a banger match. This was the most exciting thing of SmackDown. And I hope they continue to do well by Carmelo Hayes. Carmelo Hayes is having a really solid run so far, and I hope they continue. Now we end up getting a quick match with Jordynne Grace, Chelsea Green. I'm not going to really discuss this. This is really just to push the Jordynne Grace and Jade Cargill story that they've been telling. Jade Cargill was watching the match. Jordynne Grace wins. After the match, Chelsea Green tried to attack Jordynne Grace, but accidentally ended up attacking Jade Cargill. And Jordynne Grace ends up holding the WWE Championship and then hands it back to her. Okay. This is fine for what it was. Now, are they going to integrate Chelsea Green into this match? Because I'm assuming Jade Cargill is going to want some payback for Chelsea Green accidentally attacking her. So I don't know if they're going to pay that off next week or they're going to pay this off at Saturday night's main event. I'm assuming this has to be the Saturday's main event match because Jade Cargill needs a title defense. Look, I like Jade Cargill. I'm one of her biggest defenders because I think she has a lot of potential, but this is getting ridiculous. Like, this is going on like 3 months, damn near, of her not defending her title. Like, what are we doing here? I get that she has no opponents. I get that. But she has to defend this motherfucker. Like, we cannot be going 3 months without defending this title. Like, she has to defend this bitch soon. I don't care when she defends it, if I'm being honest. Jordynne Grace being her first title defense, I like it. Gives her one of the more credible opponents. And it gives Jordynne Grace instantly in the main event scene. So, I'm excited to see what they go from here. I don't think the feud will be all that interesting because a Jade Cargill and Jordynne Grace feud, I don't know how that really works from a story narrative and from a promo and stuff, from a character. But nonetheless, this is better than nothing, and it gives her one of the more credible people. So I'm interested to see where this goes. But Jade Cargill needs to defend that championship very soon. We finally get to the main event. Ilya Dragunov versus Sami Zayn to qualify, the last qualifying match to see who will be the final person in that Fatal 4-Way at Saturday Night's main event. This was a banger match. Sami Zayn does pick up the victory, which I did enjoy. It looks like they're telling the story of Sami Zayn trying to defeat Drew McIntyre. I can see Sami Zayn actually winning that Fatal 4-Way match. I don't know if he will win it, but it does make sense for him to win it. if, like I said, if Sami Zayn is going to win, I want him to win that Undisputed Championship, but I just don't see him winning it. So if he does win the Fatal 4-Way at Saturday Night Main Event and become the #1 contender, I don't see him winning at the Rumble because I do think they're going to have Drew at least hold it until at least Elimination Chamber at least. I don't see him losing his first title defense. But if Sami Zayn does win, I'm not going to be mad at it. I want Sami Zayn to win the WWE Undisputed Championship so bad because it's long overdue. It's really long overdue. He should have won. If I'm being honest, he should have been the one to dethrone Cody. I mean, not Cody, Roman, if it wasn't for Cody and his popularity. But man, it's long overdue. He's been owed this since 2023. Like, I really want, well, 2022, no, 2023, yeah, since 2023. Like, I really want Sami to win. I really do. I'm not going to get my hopes up. I'm really not because I'm not going to do it. I'm just not going to do it. I'm just going to let it play out, but who knows? Anything's possible. Drew McIntyre won. I didn't think he was going to win. Jey Uso won the Rumble, so who knows? Sami may win the Rumble. So overall show, this was a great show. This was a really great SmackDown. The 3-hour SmackDowns have been really good. Didn't have high hopes for it because typically we dealt with this last year with the 3-hour SmackDowns, and it was doing that whole Solo Sikoa era for whatever reason. And that was terrible. So they have really drastically improved SmackDown, so I'm very interested to see how SmackDown is going to move forward. But overall show was great. You guys let me know your overall thoughts, opinions down below. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure you hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of my content. But yeah, that's it.